We are joined for the first time, it will not be the last time, talking law enforcement with one of the top law enforcement professionals in the state nation. He's Amir Jones. He's the sheriff of Essex County, New Jersey. Good to see you, Amir.
Good to see you as well, Steve. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Sheriff, we were together at a recent 9/11 ceremony at Eagle Rock, the memorial up here in Essex County. You spoke. I'm honored to be a part of that event with a whole bunch of other folks led by the county executive, Joe DiVincenzo. You spoke about law enforcement professionals and the heroes that they were on 9/11 and they are every day. To what degree do you believe we still, as a society, respect and admire our law enforcement professionals and see them for the heroes they are?
I think we do. That's one of my goals here, Steve, as a sheriff, is to, bridge that gap and, engage with our community. Community engagement is very important to me. That's something I'm passionate about. And that's something that's one of my main priorities here as a sheriff.
But, along those lines, there's some degree of, there's a chasm, there's a disconnect, and some are not just critical of the police, but distrustful of the police. You've talked about your son. You told one of our producers in a pre-interview about your son. Talk about your relationship with your son, teenage son, right?
He's 17 years old. He's a senior in high school right now. I tell you, about 5 years ago, just having this conversation with my son during the George Floyd era and COVID at the same time. I remember picking him up, from school the day that happened. He was 12 years old at the time. And, he expressed his disgust and concern for law enforcement, which, truly hurt me because, I'm his father, number one. And I am a law enforcement officer and, we live in the same home. And I felt if my son, Amir Jr., felt this way, then there's thousands of other kids that feel the same way. So, it was very disheartening. It was very hard to hear that coming from my own son.
What'd you say to him, Sheriff?
I said, Amir, don't judge the, 99% by the, the 1%, the one bad percent that we have here. That guy made a mistake. And
other officers did not step in.
No.
Good.
And that was a mistake that they made as well. I explained to him. I said, listen, and I expressed a quote that, from Dr. King. I said, an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. What happened in Minnesota does not happen here in New Jersey. We police differently here. And, it won't happen here, especially while I'm here. And at the time, I wasn't the sheriff. I was an undersheriff. But, still a symbol of authority here in this county. So, I explained to him that won't happen here. And he's still, he's still having a hard time,
That's not easy.
No, it's not.
Let me ask you this. As things get tighter, more intense, as it relates to who's, quote, in control. I've asked some of your colleagues in the law enforcement community, if the feds come in, if ICE comes in, and they're dealing with a situation regarding immigration or someone who they're trying to take off the street, or they go into a whatever it is, and they're looking for folks, but your folks are in charge, or the local folks in the municipality are in charge, and the feds come in. Who's got the lead on this, Sheriff?
Listen, the ICE is a federal law enforcement agency. Their focus is to enforce immigration. We do not assist with them at all whatsoever. They haven't asked for assistance. We cannot interfere with an ICE investigation. Like I said, they're under federal authority. We don't assist. We don't interfere. So they are the lead.
They're the lead. But when the president talks about going into certain urban communities, Newark could be one of them. Patterson could be one of them, but Newark is the largest community in the state, and obviously in Essex County. President comes in and says, National Guard coming in, got to clean up Newark because they don't have it together. Mayor Baraka, plus he's been critical of me, so I'm going to go in and send our guys in and women. Really? Who is responsible for law enforcement in the community?
It's us. To me, it's the local municipalities. It's the sheriff's office and the local municipalities. And quite frankly, I don't, my opinion, I know we don't need the National Guard in here. We do a great job here. Crime is down here. We have a great law enforcement community here. We have great chiefs. We have a great prosecutor. We don't need help here.
Let me ask you something. The statistics often show what you just said, that crime is down. Why do you believe, Sheriff, that there's a perception on the part of many that that is not the case. I've got the horrible case that happened recently down in North Carolina of a 22-year-old woman who was attacked on a train by someone who was in and out of the mental health system, in and out of the criminal justice system, and stabbed her in the neck. And the president says, you see, there it is, out of control. Incidents like that, high visibility, horrific murder like that, and the statistics don't match up. You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, listen, I think that's the world we live in. Everyone wants to point out the negative. There's things that happen. Yeah, things are going to happen, but listen, there's so much good that happened in this community, especially in the law enforcement community. And here, I can only speak for New Jersey and North, Essex County. We have a great relationship with our community. Knock on wood, we don't have those incidents that happen. We can, and I'm sure will, and we deal with it accordingly. But we are, the officers here are highly trained to deal with crisis intervention, de-escalation. Our Attorney General mandates those trainings. So listen, I hope we don't have these issues that we see around the world.
Yeah. Before I let you go, you have what is the public awareness initiative that you have? It's called Ask the Sheriff. What is it, real quick?
So Ask the Sheriff is something, again, where I can, engage with community. It's something that where, you can go on our social media platform or askthesheriff.com, ask any question related to the sheriff's office, ask any question related to me. We've had several questions about, simple questions of what does the sheriff's office do? What's the difference between the sheriff's office and the local municipality? Can you come to our building for a meet and greet, which, we're setting up by the end of this week. So, it's a great way to engage with the community.
Amir Jones is only 37 years of age, one of the youngest sheriffs, not just in the state, but in the nation. He's the sheriff of Essex County, the most populated, I think.
41, Steve. I got to correct you. I'm 41. Not that young. I wish I was.
Oh, I'm changing my age too. Okay. Yeah. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to
All
see
the
you,
best,
Steve.
Amir.
Thank you.
You take care.
All
I'm
right.
Steve Adubato. That's a 41-year-old sheriff of Essex County, Amir Jones. See you next time.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by the Turrell Fund, a foundation serving children. Congress Hall, a Cape Resorts property. New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program. Myron and Elaine Adler Private Foundation, in support of the Adler Aphasia Center. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. New Jersey Sharing Network. Kane University. Johnson & Johnson. New Jersey Public Charter Schools Association. And by these public-spirited organizations, individuals, and associations committed to informing New Jersey citizens about the important issues facing the Garden State. Promotional support provided by NJ.com and by New Jersey Globe.
How long you been waiting?
About a half hour.
Brutal. This keeps up, I'm gonna miss my pickleball game.
I've been waiting 8 years for a kidney. What can you do?
Over 100,000 people in the U.S. are waiting for a life-saving transplant. But you can do your part in an instant. Register as an organ donor today at njsn.org.